抜け fly away 体中に広がるパノラマ
Fundamentals of Fire Protection Engineering. Yan, Fire Science 101.
Oh my God! Wow!
Fire Protection Engineering is the application of scientific and technical principles to the dynamic mitigation and suppression of fire that has potential negative effect on people, structures, commodities, and business operations. Objectives of fire protection is to save lives and preserve investment. Pangalawa po ay compliance sa legislations tulad ng Fire Code of the Philippines o yung tinatawag nating RA 9514 at National Building Code. Pangatlo, yung peace of mind knowing that your property is protected. Lastly, to reduce the premium cost on insurance. So, fire protection involves the implementation of safety planning, fire drills, trainings, and education on fire safety. Building materials used in construction, equipment operations, regular inspection, testing and maintenance, evacuation and rescue procedures. Fire science, alam naman natin lahat tong the tetrahedron of fire, yung na-discuss ni Ma'am Fuentes kahapon, yung oxygen, heat and fuel. So mag-proceed na lang tayo sa apat na classes of fire. Class A, ordinary combustibles of fibrous materials such as wood, paper, cloth, rubber, and some plastics. Class B naman po yung mga flammable or combustible liquids such as gasoline, kerosene, paint thinners, and propane. Class C naman po yung energized electrical equipment such as appliances, switches, panel boxes, and power tools. Class D naman po certain combustible metals such as zinc, magnesium, titanium, zirconium, lithium, calcium, etc. And Class K fires naman po are the fires with substances such as animal and vegetable fats present in commercial cooking oils and greases. How do you put out a Class K fires? Class K fires can only be extinguished with Class K extinguishers.
Paano masabi?
And should never be sprayed with water as this can increase the spread of the cooking liquids. RA 9514 mandates that commercial kitchens should follow NFPA 96 or standard for ventilation control and fire protection commercial cooking operations. A Class K fire extinguisher is used on fires involving cooking media, fats, grease, and oils in commercial cooking sites such as restaurants. Saponification takes place when alkaline mixtures such as potassium acetate, potassium citrate, potassium carbonate are applied to burning cooking oil or fat. Fire is a rapid, self-sustaining oxidation process of combustible materials accompanied by the release of heat and light. There are two products of fires: thermal, the flame and heat, and thermal, yung smoke and fire gases. Yung mga fire gases, toxic gas that kills, for example, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, ammonia, hydrogen chloride, sulfur dioxide. What are the characteristics of fire? There are three. First, yung fast. Fire will double every 30 seconds under normal condition. Hot, within minutes. Air temperature in a burning room can reach 300 degrees Celsius, enough to melt clothes, skin, and scorch your lungs in one breath. And lastly, deadly. Small fire can produce enough smoke to fill building in minutes. Smoke results: teary eyes, choking sensation, impaired judgment due to carbon monoxide, loss of spatial recognition, sedation effect. What is the difference between combustible and flammable material? Combustible material is something that can burn in air, ignite with some effort, and burn at temperatures that are usually above working temperatures. Materials that has a flash point of above 37.8 degrees Celsius. Flammable materials naman catches fire immediately on exposure to flame. Material that has flash point below 37.8 degrees Celsius. The general characteristics of fire: type of combustion process, growth rate, ventilation, fire stage. 3 classification by type of combustion process. First, the pre-combustion is the process of heating fuels to their ignition point, during which time vapors and particulates are released from the fuel. Pangalawa, yung smoldering combustion. Smoldering is defined as glowing combustion on the fuel surface and may or may not be related in any way to the oxygen content in the vicinity of the smoldering process. Flaming combustion, production of sufficient energy and fuel vapor mixture with air in flammable range. First stages of fire, una yung incipient, refers to the stage when there is smoldering but insufficient flaming for established burning. Fire growth stage represents increasing fire growth with respect to heat release over time. The fire during this stage would be considered fuel controlled. Steady state, heat release rate is constant. Heat release rate may be controlled by the fuel package size and geometry or by the available ventilation to support combustion. For example, ventilation controlled fire. Fire decay, heat release rate is decreasing over time. This may be due consumption of fuel in fuel controlled scenario. Heat transfer governs all aspects of fire from ignition through fully developed fire. Heat transfer is driven by temperature difference, always flows from higher to lower temperatures. There are 3 mechanisms of heat transfer. Ito yung conduction, convection, tsaka yung radiation. Conduction, it's a mechanism of heat transfer through a solid. For example, from a heated surface to the interior of the solid. In convection naman, it involves the transfer of heat by a circulating fluid, either a gas or a liquid. The hot buoyant air then rises, setting up convection currents that transfer heat to distant objects by conduction across the boundary layer. Lastly, yung radiation, it is a form of energy that travels across a space without the need of an intervening medium, such as solid or fluid. It travels as electromagnetic waves in straight lines, behaving similarly to light, radio waves, and X-rays.
What?
Yung radiation po is a transmission of heat energy through electromagnetic waves. Ang convection naman po is the transfer of heat energy by the movement of heated fluids. And lastly, yung conduction naman po is a transmission of heat from one body to another. The transfer of heat from a molecule to another molecule.